Bonjour, comment ça va? Je suis Cotalia. Bienvenue sur le podcast Ride and Remedy. Hello and welcome to the Ride and Remedy podcast. I am your host, Cotalia Dulalive. Join me today as we discuss schooling shows. Only here at the Ride and Remedy podcast, where riding is the remedy. Ulikitasio aleprimade. On y va. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here and I'm very excited about this particular video. Now I want to say before we even begin to make sure if you're listening to go check out the video because the video that you're going to see on YouTube is going to be a long form video where you're going to get to see much. Well, here you can't see anything if you're listening, but you'll get to see the visuals. I had the pleasure of attending a schooling show where either some of the barn riders from the barn that I attend or barn affiliates were taking, and they allowed me to film them and get some different things, and you will not be disappointed. It is quite incredible for sure. So you may question, why did I want to do this particular video? Why did I find this to be incredibly important? And for me, I really have to be honest. As one that really, really desires to do this professionally, having those opportunities and abilities to explore what you like, what things feel like, getting adapted to different situations, understanding the culture of spaces and the environment, not just for you and the horse, is incredibly important, quite imperative. And I feel that a lot of times individuals, riders, often will just think, let me ride, let me do. Let me go fast, let me jump. Let me just get in the horse and do what I do. And it's so much more than that. And especially if you want to approach it in a very well thought out way that allows you to build confidence slowly but surely without doubt or anxiety or fear. And that's incredibly important. And so, no, it is honestly the best ever. So, one moment, please. I'm just going to take one small break. So, I will just also just do a small little break here, or mention why the break. So normally if you're seeing me here, I'm at the barn, and this is not my barn. So I often try to get these podcasts made like early in the mornings where there's not so much going on, but as it is getting hotter here in Mobile, more people come out earlier. So I'm gonna have to come out even earlier, but then the lighting isn't as good. So oftentimes the respectful place that this is, a lot of the boarders were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to interrupt. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Come on through. You got things to do with your horse. I understand. So definitely be aware. The awareness is appreciated, but yes, so voila. So getting to the point here, schooling shows. As I was mentioning, they're so important. They are so fundamental when it comes to your journey as a professional rider, for sure. Or anyone that desires to show, anyone that desires to show. Schooling shows are fundamental for so many different reasons, and it's actually one of the first things that I looked forward to in my journey as riding. So one thing is, you may ask the question, what are schooling shows? If you have no idea what a schooling show is, or you aren't a part of the horse world, a schooling show is a show put on by your local barns and facilities and equestrian centers that are not recognized or rated, which means there's no professional scoring or points taken of your horse in your journey, where you rank in the world of horseback riders, etc. So schooling shows give you the opportunity. I think they call it, what do they call it in other sports? Like scrimmage games. This would be like a scrimmage show. It gives you the ability to show, to compete, but without the pressure of the tight stipulations and the red tape of doing things very particular ways. It's a lot more relaxed. There's a lot more, it's more forgiving. So because it is more forgiving, it provides less stress, less pressure. You can breathe a little bit more. Now, let me say, it is still quite, it can be quite emotionally or mentally demanding for sure. We cannot deny this, but without a doubt, it is not the same as going to Ocala to work, right? It is not the same there, and of course, depending on location, region, there's people may take schooling shows even more seriously, even more. Yes, seriously. Okay, c'est trop sérieux, and so if that's the case, it's perfectly fine. And for me, and I guess for me, I don't respond differently to a rated show or a schooling show because for me, I've always been taught to practice how you're going to perform, practice how you're going to compete. And so, first and foremost, I love these colors. Yes, we have one of the writers here. She just walked through this beautiful, like, what color would you call these? You're
I don't even know. They're like.
gonna be on camera, by the way.
Oh, okay. It's my morning pain.
Yes.
I don't know what you would call these. They're like
I mean,
fuchsia
well,
almost.
not the fuchsia. I'm not a
Oh,
pink
not
girl
this,
at
like
all.
the.
Yes, these like, is it like a shirt? It's like a sorbet.
I would say sorbet.
A sorbet for
Yes.
sure.
I
That
love
is, it looks wonderful on you. I love
Thank
it.
you. Oh, and he
Yes.
pops in it too.
I can only
Almost
imagine.
all-
Are you guys about to ride?
We are. I'm about to have a lesson.
Okay, you're about to have a lesson, not teaching a lesson.
no.
Seatbelt.
It's my
Well,
off day.
well, congratulations
Thank
and
you.
good ride.
Thank you.
Merci, absolument. Yes, this beautiful sorbet. I don't think that I'm a sorbet girl, but it pops with her skin tone like beautifully. I just don't. I don't think sorbet is for me. But anyways, as I was mentioning, we are at the barn, so expect this, and it is what it is. So, as we explore the idea of schooling shows, I've expressed to you, you know, what they are. And whenever you have an opportunity to watch the video, and I have to say this, go to YouTube, or if you are here on YouTube, you're going to have an opportunity to see some of the footage from the from this recent show. Now, I will tell you, I've done schooling shows here at my local barn. I haven't done any schooling shows outside off property. And I really, really wanted to do a show this spring with Corbeau, but it was canceled, also due to Corbeau. But that's another conversation for another time. And so I just don't want y'all to miss out on the beauty. I mean, there are some beautiful riders in the video. So when we begin to explore and have the conversations of schooling shows, it is also super, super, super important to understand that there are different schooling shows, okay? Different schooling shows. Here at our equestrian center, we normally do horse trials, which means we're doing dressage, cross country, and we're also doing show jumping. So that's essentially like 3-day eventing, but in one day. So horse trials, and so you have the ability to do that. You may have a schooling show that is just straight dressage. You may have a schooling show that is straight combined training. You may have a schooling show that's just your hunter derbies. You may have just show jumping. So they can the options for schooling shows range, and again how they are run, how they are operated may differ depending on region, depending on space, and a variety of other things. So it's so you also have to give yourself an opportunity to say, you know, where you want to be, what you want to do. And the beauty of all of these options are it allows you to take the time to explore what your horse would like to do. What your horse would like to do. Because yes, of course, you can say, oh, well, I want to be a 3-day eventer. When your horse says, well, I want to be a trail riding horse, and he'll let you know at the schooling show. It's a variety of things. And there's, and I have my notes here, but there are other great points that I do want to bring up right away, which is having the ability to observe the discipline that you desire to be in. So it's not even that you have to travel to the ends of the earth to experience, the top level shows, because the exact same way that you're going to get these very basic, fundamental standards at your local levels, you're going to see them at your top levels. Everyone has to come down center line the exact same in dressage, no matter if you're starting today or you've been doing this for 80 years. It is all the exact same. So even if you're not mounted, you have the ability to just simply watch, observe, go with your trainer, ask questions. I mean, it is one of the best things. And we'll talk a little bit more later about like the confidence building that it does provide. So, and I, as I'm looking at my notes, confidence is one of the first things. So the confidence is huge. The confidence part is huge because, again, how do we build confidence? That repetition, understanding you know what you know. Again, practicing like you perform. All of these things, again, with less pressure from rated shows, you still have your own personal stress. Are you on a new horse? Is this just your first show in general? Is the horse tired? Is this a new location? There are so many different factors, but the beauty of beauty of a schooling show is it allows you truly to get your footing, if you will, in whatever space that you desire before moving on to a rated show. So doing as many schooling shows as possible is wonderful, but you can't stop it just at your home barn. You need to go off property to a schooling show. So again, you don't have the pressure of a rated show, but now you know what it feels like to do off property. What does that bring you? Well, first and foremost, how are you operating? How are you feeling firsthand from the rider's perspective? How are you feeling from that point? That is huge because your confidence may be incredibly high at your facility because you know the area, you know the location, you know where the dragons are in the bushes and the trees and on the fence line. You know all of those things. But when you are off property, it differs. When you're off property, it differs because now you don't know where those things are. You don't know where those obstacles are. You don't know where those potential surprises may be. And that could be your own situation that doesn't include the horse. Okay? So that is one element. The next element is when it comes to schooling shows is having the discussion of learning the process of show life. So, understanding show life, show culture, the world of show is different. You know, it's one thing to be a barn girl or barn rider, barn boy, whatever. It's another thing to experience show life. You know, so if you're just at your barn, you're trail riding, that's one thing. You can still be doing lessons for dressage and show jumping and barrel racing or whatever else. That's whatever. But when you open the door and enter the space of shows, it is quite different. It is quite different. There are rules, there are regulations, there are bugs that get in your eye almost every time you come out to the barn, which is incredibly frustrating. I guess I should be wearing my sunglasses. Oh well, we shall continue on. So, I want to express the importance of guidance in just the equine world in general, beyond the show, just horsemanship, period. The guidance, the mentorship is needed. And I don't mean necessarily going to Google University or YouTube University, as educational as this is. It doesn't compare when you are in the space, in the environment, and having someone with you. So, in this show world, knowing what to expect, knowing what to expect. So, going to a show, getting your folder, that is very important. Getting your folder, getting your number. Do you know where to clip your number? Are you wearing a number? Is your horse wearing the number? Do you know where you are in the space? Have anyone scratched? Anyone not showing up? So are things going to be earlier? Oh my gosh. There are some other points here that I'm going to bring up that I learned very quickly in the shows that I did, that I've done so far. And uh, it's I guess I'll bring it up now, but just like even time management is super, super, c'est très important. It's very important. It's very important for time management. I know for me personally, when I did my show, my first show, I was like, I'm gonna go up there. I'm going to make sure he's nice and clean, or whomever I was on at the time. The night before, I'll go up and I'll braid the day of so the braids are nice and beautiful and all of the things and I should have plenty of time. I quickly learned, you in trouble, girl, because you don't have the time. Things move. It's funny because it's like sometimes things move so fast, other times things move slow. Sometimes it's hurry up and wait, sometimes it's just hurry up. And so you just don't know until you have experienced multiple shows how it can go and what are the standards. So another thing is like warming up. Like I said, the process of going to a show, trailering, warming up. Do you walk your horse around? Have you created your own routine that you're going to do when you approach a new location or space? Do you even know what that looks like? Do you know what that is? So for example, having a trainer with you, having a guide with you, having a mentor with you, an instructor would be incredibly important. You always need someone on the ground to some capacity to give you some kind of insight, especially for example, if you are doing something like show jumping, stadium jumps, and you have to do your warm-ups, you can't be getting on and off to fix the questions and the obstacles. No, it doesn't work this way. So you have to have someone there. So understanding that process, and as I mentioned, like time management as well. How much time do you have to warm up? How much time do you have to circle the dressage arena, becoming familiar with the outside before entering the dressage arena? Uh, how many times should you do some practice jumps prior to you showing? Because that is also very personal, very individualized, very specific. Because where someone may do 80 jumps before running a course, you may do 2 jumps before doing a course. Well, Cotelia, why would you do this? Well, this horse has a lot of energy and they need to slow down, and maybe that's their reasoning. I'm not saying that you should, I'm saying that maybe their reasoning. And for you, your horse is kind of, I need a coffee or 2 before really get going, and so I don't want to waste my energy kind of deal. There are multiple reasons, and those reasons are also, I'm going to say this, will vary from barn to barn, location to location, how a team essentially performs, or this community performs, may be very different than how you will perform, or in regards to warming up. Another thing is understanding what is needed when we're talking about the process of the shows. What gear do you need? What tack do you need? Are you bringing your lunge line? Are you going to lunge? Do you have multiple reins? Are you changing clothes for every discipline? Exactly what are you going to need for this particular space? So that's super, super important as well. I did mention time management. So as we have discussed now, those how shows are ran, and also too, this is something very, when I mention time management, also just understand the time it takes. You may show up at a show at 8 a.m. You may not leave until 5 p.m. You may have a ride at 8 o'clock and one at 12 o'clock and another one at 4 o'clock. So it varies, but you also need to get used to, again, that world, that field, how it's going to do, how things are going to be, how things can be. And another reason why I have to just bring that up is because, once again, the more frequent you do schooling shows and you understand how things operate, you understand how to approach, again, all these different spaces and places. Once you decide, if you decide to step into rated shows, you know what to do. You know, I gotta get my folder, I gotta get my number. Where's the warm-up arena? Where's the warm-up spaces? Where are the actual performance spaces? Where's the concession stand? You know, so it's really preparing you for professional life if that is your goal, or show life if that is your goal. Before we get into the next topic here, I must say thank you to Ride and Remedy, where riding is the remedy, the only all-natural, dual-purpose, insect repellent, anti-parasitic for the equine and the rider. Ride X Remedy truly is one of a kind, one of its kind, without a doubt. I literally use this when I need to and as much as I need to. The great thing about Ride and Remedy is I have formulated it for skin care, skin health, as well as the function of repelling ticks, fleas, gnats, mosquitoes, you name it, it literally can do and has done all of those things. I will say, give Ride and Remedy an opportunity. Give us a chance. And also, if you haven't heard, we are expanding. But until then, check us out at rideXremedy.com. Right onto the face. And I'm perfectly fine. It doesn't burn. It feels good. It smells incredible. Couldn't be happier. So, for this next part, we are going to explore the idea of equine confidence with schooling shows. This is definitely one of the top pillars. You know, you think about the operations, you think about the rider, and you also got to think about your equine partner. And this is super, 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 super important because when you are building that bond with your equine partner, trust in you is super imperative. Putting them into many different environments, spaces, opportunities with you is one of the most important pillars to your progression as a team, to be honest. Schooling shows give you the opportunity to explore crowds, signs, flapping things, car doors, horns, beeps, buzzers, all of these things that you are in fact experiencing with your horse. And also, as I mentioned, giving your horse the opportunity to do these things, for example, in hand, not even being mounted. That is a huge thing for Corbeau right now. You know, I won't say that we're antisocial at all. I don't say that we're antisocial, but I will say that we are not as, we have not operated to the capacity that I would desire. So actually today there's going to be some pretty big crowds here and I'm going to have him in hand. Schooling shows allow you to explore that. People moving behind you, in front of you, on the sides of you. Horses running when you need to be relaxed, and you know, horses are jumping when you need to be relaxed, or how to again operate in a warm-up arena, what that looks like, and how to maneuver in those things. So one part is, as the rider, you want to know things and you want to be confident with things, but you are not on your own. You literally have a teammate that is also very new to this. So that is the beauty of a home show, right? That's the beauty of a home show, because now you're in a place and position that allows you to truly, one, you don't have to think so much, but it gives you an opportunity to put your attention to yours, making sure your artist is not distracted, making sure that you're not being unaware, right? Taking your time, also getting them used to other individuals, becoming confident with letting people know, hey, look, he's a young horse, or maybe he kicks or she kicks, etc., so forth and so on. There's so many great, wonderful things when it comes to that confidence building with your equine in these spaces. So all of the things that you have to be confident with doing, they also have to be confident with doing as well. So, you know, and I know I have a video where I'm talking about desensitization, and for me, it's lack of desensitization at this point, and it's actually awareness. It is actually understanding, and so this is where it begins. The more opportunities you give your horse to be in environments that are new, that are different, will build that confidence. And you know, when I first started the Ride and Remedy podcast and some of the Ride and Remedy content, I was talking about the Ride and Remedy training method. And one of those pillars are confidence. So for example, I don't desire to take Corbeau to a schooling show off property today and show. No, my first time with Corbeau off property at a schooling show will be in hand. It will solely be in hand. And why is this important? Why is this important? Well, first and foremost, there are so many great things you're learning. Trailering. Getting your horse familiar with trailering. Getting on the trailer. It also teaches you, what do you need? Do you have hay? Do you have water? Do you have your le corde, the harness, the ornea? Do you have the things you need to les gants, the gloves? You have so many things that you need to think about and things that you need to consider when trailering, but it builds their confidence with trailering. Once there, I talked about this earlier, like the hurry up and wait. Being patient is a task for the equine, but it is one of those safety measures. So being able to go to a schooling show and just stand there, going to a schooling show and having to be tied up and waiting there, that is super important. But again, you don't have to explore these very fundamental things from the off-property experience. You have a schooling show at your barn, at your facility, tie up, add a post, add a trailer, have your hay bale, your hay bag. Okay, do that at your barn. Let them understand what it is and how it feels, what to experience, what to expect there, So once you're off property, you're doing the same thing. Yes, environment is new, but now they are very familiar with, I'm standing to the trailer, I'm not moving, I have my hay, here's some water. It's simple, it's easy. I say it's simple and easy, but let's be honest. Is anything really ever simple and easy when it comes to equine? That's to be determined. But yes, so having these opportunities to do at your home, Barnes, is great exercise for their confidence in you and themselves. And that is super important too when we speak about equine confidence. They have to become confident, pardon-moi, je suis désolée, confident within themselves when it comes to jumping, walking, stepping over things, holding themselves. All the many things are incredibly important when it comes to their own confidence building, their own self-awareness, because if they are confident, then they don't necessarily need you to not panic or respond very impulsively or whatever, because they have built an understanding of relaxation, which is another big point, is when we are exploring the idea of equine confidence, we do have to explore or have the conversation that, Mama CT, please, Mama, please. So, again, I want to say, if you haven't, if you're listening, check us out at on YouTube to watch again these beautiful moments that I was able to capture over this weekend at this schooling show. As I mentioned, there are so many just beautiful moments in general, but I truly would love for you to see how things are so different. And another big thing that I did not even mention, which I cannot believe that I forgot to mention, is schooling shows allow the youngest of the youngest and the eldest of the eldest the opportunities. And not just the youngest to the eldest, but multiple levels. So you can be very starter or the most advanced. But either way it goes, you have these opportunities. And so, and again, that's very incredible to watch because it actually, I know for me, it's inspiring to watch some riders that are younger, riders that are older, more advanced, just beginning, because you often will find that a lot of the things that you are hearing that you need to do at your lessons, you actually are hearing and seeing at these shows, no matter the level. And that's always just very, reassuring for sure. So the last part of this, which won't be long, we are going to discuss probably one of the most important parts of the rated show, and that is constructive criticism, judging, points, etc. Okay, so the last point that we want to bring up regarding schooling shows is scoring, constructive criticism, points, advice, encouragement. All of the things that sometimes people get too caught up in, because the reality is this: every experience is a learning experience, one way or the other. How you approach it, what you take away from it, is truly, it's that is a personal thing. But for some individuals, it is about the scoring. It is about, can I score? Can I score? Can I score? Well, we're not going to focus so much on the scoring in the way of you need to win, but we will say this: understanding scoring system at a show is different, right? So the scoring system in dressage, it looks a particular kind of way. Your faults and falls and things of that nature in the show jumping, that's also different. But you may not, you won't understand it unless you enter a show environment, or you become educated about shows. It's just no way to do it. So school and shows give you an opportunity to see how that works and how that operates. The other thing is, when it comes to the schooling shows and the scoring of it all, is the advice, the constructive criticism, the encouragement, those type of things that you are going to be able to get and obtain through the judges. So the judges just don't go, boom, here's a 40, boom, here's a 34, or whatever. No, they're going to say short strides, weak on the hind end, or head is too high, or rushing needs to relax, hands are too busy. I mean, the list can go on and on and on about the different things that you need to do to improve your writing. So schooling shows give you an opportunity to advance your progression with the insights of different judges. Now, we have to be honest, I think they call it subjective, where one judge may be incredibly particular about that lower leg, where this judge is very particular about hands, and this judge is all about how the horse is moving, etc. Well, which means their focus is going to be that, which means they are going to want to, they may expect more there, so they may judge harder, where they may be less hard on something else. So it is subjective depending on the judge, right? But it doesn't matter, because when you take all of the bits and pieces, it's all beneficial to you and your equine partner. You can, there is nothing but greatness that can come from constructive criticism, from encouragement, from that insight from different eyes. Because even if your instructor is saying one thing and now you're hearing it from someone else, that may be what you need to listen. Sometimes it's the way the judge says it versus how your instructor may say it. That's also another real thing. So there's so many different benefits to shows. As we like to say, from the rooter to the tutor, like it's literally nothing but the best. It doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be seamless. It doesn't mean that it's going to be just dandelions, unicorns, and leprechauns and rainbows. No. But it gives you so many necessary things that you need to have a very strong, solid experience with your equine throughout your life. I would be so interested in knowing, what are some major points that you've learned through doing shows, during schooling shows particularly? What particular things have you learned? What particular things have you taken away? Are you even familiar with schooling shows? Are you considering schooling shows? Let us know here in the comments here on the podcast, as well as here on YouTube. I absolutely would love to hear. And if you think that I left out something, let me know. I would be so happy to read your comments. D'accord? Merci beaucoup. Thank you so very much for joining me today with a discussion of schooling shows. Again, I say, go check us out on YouTube, because The footage is beautiful. I mean, there are some magical moments. You may get tired of me saying it, but there is nothing more majestic than a beautiful horse doing what they love. And that's what you're going to get on this video. D'accord? Merci beaucoup. I do appreciate you listening or watching. Until next time, this is Ride and Remedy, where riding is the remedy.